very good morning to you. Welcome to the AM News here on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyag Mofwegbe, reminding our viewers that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Professor Josh Amupito has pledged to conduct a comprehensive audit of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, focusing particularly on the logistics used during the 2023 general elections. Amupito made the commitment during his screening before the Senate Committee of the Whole, following President Bola Tinubu's request for the nominee to be confirmed by the Red Chamber. He said the review would help identify the Commission's operational challenges as well as provide practical solutions in collaboration with relevant stakeholders. Global Television will bring you those details in the course of our news broadcast today. In a different development, the Senate has suspended further consideration of a bill seeking to repeal the Electoral Act 2022 and enact a new Electoral Act 2025 following concerns that lawmakers needed more time for wider consultations as well as a deeper understanding of its provisions. The decision came after the Senate leader, Opeyemi Bamidele, moved a motion to stand down deliberations, which was seconded by Minority Leader Senator Abba Moro. Bamidele said it is not an appropriate time for the upper chamber to proceed into an executive session on such a far-reaching bill. It was a solemn atmosphere at the National Assembly as the House of Representatives held a valedictory session in honor of the late former Speaker Agunwa Anekwe, whose body lay in state at the foyer of the complex. Agunwa Anekwe, who presided over the House between 1992 and 1993, was remembered as a principled leader and strong advocate of democratic values whose legacy helped shape the institution. A National Assembly correspondent, Aniyetie Patrick, now reports.
Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, described the session as a rare honor reserved for individuals whose contributions left an enduring mark on Nigerians' democratic development. From colleagues, including Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, former Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso, former Minister of Labour Chris Ngigi, and former Speaker Yakubu Dogara, joined members in paying glory tributes, noting his humility, integrity, and dedication to national service. Members also urged that his name be immortalized in recognition of his selfless service to the nation.
His tenure, though brief, remained a reference point in our democratic evolution. In him, we find the example of a presiding officer who understood that the House of Representatives is not merely a gathering of politicians.
Thank the Honorable House for giving us this very good opportunity to honor our colleague, our friend.
Whilst we ask the federal government to name a national monument after this former speaker, this amiable speaker, this indefatigable officer of the Federal Republic,
he will be remembered by the things he handed out to others and by the lives he touched. And for us to remember him, I believe the best way that we can sustain and each his legacy.
Responding on behalf of the family, his daughter, Ijoma Obiagu, expressed profound gratitude to the House for celebrating her father's life and contributions.
In these very difficult and trying times, we are comforted by the very kind words that have been said about him today. It tallies with the memories that we have of him as a father.
The House commiserated with his family, the people of Anambra State, and Nigerians at large over his passing in July at the age of 68, as the late Speaker's final rites are set to take place at his country home in Anambra State. From the National Assembly, Aniyetie Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Stakeholders in Nigeria's aviation sector have expressed strong support for the proposed law establishing the African Aviation and Aerospace University in Abuja. Stakeholders in Nigeria's aviation industry are backing the proposed legislation to establish the African Aviation and Aerospace University in Nigeria's capital. They say the move is vital to tackling the growing manpower shortage threatening the future of the sector. Again, over to Anita Patrick, who will bring us details later. Let's turn to other stories for you. Nigeria's armed forces say they are tightening their grip on terrorists and criminal elements across the country, with fresh victories recorded in multiple theaters of operation. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcus Kangie, disclosed this while briefing journalists on the current security situation. Our defense correspondent, Kikelomo Okere, was there for Global Television.
The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Marcus Kangie, says the ongoing nationwide operations are yielding remarkable results, neutralizing terrorists, dismantling criminal networks, and reclaiming communities from the grip of insecurity. He reveals that in the northeast, troops of Operation Adenkai maintained heavy pressure on Boko Haram and ISWAP fighters across Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe states.
Our troops eliminated several terrorists and arrested their informants and logistics suppliers. They also recovered some weapons and dismantled terrorist networks. Their efforts paved ways for the safe return of displaced persons and unimpeded farming activities.
In the South-South region, troops of Operation Delta Safe intercepted nearly 100,000 liters of stolen crude oil and destroyed illegal refining sites in Delta and Rivers states, arresting 13 suspects in the process. The director further reveals that in the southeast, the military nabbed its suspected commanders of the proscribed IPOB group, along with a female logistics supplier. Weapons and a vehicle were seized, while 3 children found with the suspects were rescued.
Through skills of criminals in action, arrested 12 suspected others, while 17 kidnapped victims were rescued. Some arms, ammunition, vehicles, and livestock were also recovered.
The Military High Command commended the courage and resilience of the Nigerian Armed Forces, assuring citizens that the military remains unwavering in its mission to protect the nations and restore lasting peace. Kikelomo Okere, Global Television News.
Ensure solidarity and compassion, members of the Nigerian Defense Academy 42nd regular course have reached out to widows of their fallen colleagues and given hope and support to families who have borne the cost of national service. Ubong Usoro reports.
Marking 35 years of service, unity and brotherhood, members of the 42nd regular course of the Nigerian Defense Academy choose to celebrate their anniversary with an act of kindness, empowering widows of officers who paid the supreme price in defense of the nation. President of the 42nd regular course Jewels, Lucy Okere, says the gesture reflects the enduring spirit of camaraderie that defines the Nigerian Armed Forces, one that extends beyond service to care for families of the fallen.
We want to thank you for standing strong, even though your husbands are fallen, but we know you are still keeping the home front strong. I want you to know more than anything else that we are still one family. It's a big family. And from time to time, we pray that God will give us the opportunity to relate with you and have this kind of time.
Delivering the keynote address, Dr. Newell Megida urged the women to embrace self-development and financial independence while remaining strong in the face of life challenges.
Life has its ways of directing us. Our paths are different, and God has chosen some of us to be warriors, because I call us warriors.
Speaking on behalf of the beneficiaries, Awudi Esther described empowerment as a timely reminder that their sacrifices and those of their late husbands are not forgotten.
Try as much as you can to live a exemplary life, because even the children are looking up to you and they are watching you. Every step, every move, They are watching.
The outreach is one of the several events marking the 35th anniversary of the NDA 42nd regular course, a milestone that underscores their shared commitments to brotherhood, service, and compassion for those left behind. Ubong Usoro for Global Television.
Well, thank you so very much, Ubong. Over 100 million Nigerians are living below the poverty line, while insecurity continues to push farmers off their lands across Benue, Cross River, and Plateau states, worsening hunger and food shortages across the nation. As the world marks World Food Day 2025, Action Aid is demanding urgent government action to tackle poverty, food insecurity, and the high cost of food, despite Nigeria's commitment under the Malabo Declaration. And Yetia Patrick now brings us details.
Speaking at a press briefing in Abuja, Action Aid Nigeria's country director Andrew Mamedu warned that Nigeria's food and poverty crisis has reached a breaking point, especially with insecurity across Benue, Plateau, and Cross River states, which has crippled food production, leaving once thriving farming communities deserted. He said that with over 139 million Nigerians now living below the poverty line, the millions displaced by conflict and flooding, the country risks deeper humanitarian challenges unless urgent steps are taken.
To prioritize safety and protection of farmers, ensuring that farmlands are free from banditry, urgency, and communal conflicts. We need to allocate at least 10% of national budget at the national level, at the federal level, at the state level. We need to allocate at least 10% due to as a result of the Maputo Declaration, which we are signatory of.
Also, the Action Aid International Program Manager, Supia 2, Constance Okere, noted that despite the Malabo Declaration's commitment to allocate 10% of national budget to agriculture, Nigeria's current investment remains below that benchmark.
Different areas, including everything we don't talk here. One of the key things where they don't look into again is investment in agriculture. Why many of the countries, including Nigeria, never reach that 10%? There are still some small gain and progress. But we still, they say, as una talkam, they could not do as una talkam.
The 2025 food inflation rate stands at 21.87%. It continues to push the prices of basic food items beyond the reach of ordinary Nigerians. Farmers stress that poverty and hunger are inseparable, calling for strengthened social protection and increased support for smallholder farmers, especially women and youth.
As a farmer from the community, we are really faced with a lot of challenges that we who do the production cannot really say if there is increase in production, because some of our farmlands is not in use. So how do you tell me there is increase when where I usually farm before, I am no longer farming there?
As Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark World Food Day, the message from Action Aid is clear. Ending hunger begins with protecting farmers, investing in people, and ensuring every Nigerian can afford a decent meal. Annie T. Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Thank you so very much, Annie T. As Nigeria joins the rest of the world to mark Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the chairman of the Oncology and Cancer Committee of the Nigerian Medical Association, Dr. Adamu Alhassan Umar, has urged the federal government to expand the scope of the National Cancer Health Fund to cover all hospitals across the country. Global Television's health correspondent, Zarau Nasiro, has the rest of the story.
The call comes as breast cancer continues to be the most common cancer among women globally, a disease characterized by the abnormal growth of breast tissue that can spread to other parts of the body if not detected early. The World Health Organization warns of a projected 40% rise in new cancer cases by 2050, with low and middle-income countries like Nigeria expected to bear the heaviest burden. In an interview with Global Television, Dr. Adamu Alhassan Umar, who is also the immediate past president of the Nigerian Cancer Society, emphasized the importance of early detection and awareness among women, especially those in middle age who are most at risk.
Breast cancer in particular is a highly preventable cancer. It is one of the cancers that can highly be prevented. And of course, if detected early, can also be completely cured. But again, what we have in Nigeria is because of late presentation, women don't come forward until it is too late, especially in the rural areas.
Dr. Umar also appealed to the federal government to fully implement the National Health Insurance Act and allocate more funding to cancer intervention programs to improve access to treatment across the country.
Ensure that there is full implementation of the National Health Act, Health Insurance Act, making health insurance cover compulsory on all Nigerians. No Nigerian should be an exception.
As awareness activities continue through October, experts stress that education, regular screening, and access to care remain the strongest weapons against breast cancer. Zahra Nasr, reporting for Global TV News.
This is Global Television, and you're watching the live broadcast of the AM News. When the rest of the news returns, President Trump justifies U.S. strikes on alleged Venezuela drug boats. We have those details for you after this break, as well as other stories from the world of sports and business. We appreciate you staying with us here on the news. The second part of it now returns to business. The House of Representatives has resolved to launch a comprehensive investigation into alleged violations of local content, tax, and community development laws by oil and gas companies operating in Imo State. National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick reports that the resolution followed a motion sponsored by Chike Okafor, representing Ehime Mbano, Ihite Mboma, and Obo Federal Constituency.
At plenary, lawmakers unanimously adopted a motion mandating 6 key House committees, including Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Petroleum Resources, Finance and Justice, to probe oil and gas firms across of bridging the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act and the Petroleum Industry Act. The House also directed the oil companies to immediately comply with local employment and community development provisions, open operational offices in Imo State, and allow officials of the state's Internal Revenue Service to perform their lawful duties without restrictions. It further mandated the Committee on Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring to summon the chief executives of the 7 affected oil firms, along with heads of the NCDMB, NUPRC, and the Imo State Internal Revenue Service for questioning.
The Taxes and Levies Approved List for Collection Act authorizes state governments to collect certain taxes and levies from businesses operating within their territories, which is crucial for funding state infrastructure and social services.
Okafor, while addressing journalists after plenary, said the motion was not aimed at confrontation, but at ensuring fairness, transparency, and mutual respect between all companies and their host communities.
They take for granted the specific laws and the relevant laws, particularly the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act, which explicitly requires that all oil and gas operators are to establish operational offices in their areas of operation. In this case, particularly in the host communities.
The committees are expected to report back to the House within 4 legislative weeks. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
Still talking business. The National Agricultural Land Development Authority has launched a nationwide greenhouse farming initiative designed to boost vegetable production and create jobs for young Nigerians. Executive Secretary of the agency, Engineer Cornelius Adebayo, said the initiative is aimed at reducing the country's dependence on seasonal vegetable farming and stabilize prices across major cities. Again, Aniete Patrick has more.
According to the Executive Secretary, National Agricultural Land Development Authority, Engineer Colinius Adebayo, the project is aimed at transforming Nigeria's vegetable production system. Adebayo noted that each unit will be managed by trained young farmers who will operate as independent agripreneurs under NALDA's supervision.
You see, government is not in the business of business. We're in the business of creating the enabling environment for businesses to thrive. So we want to look, and we have a lot of our youth around not engaged. These are sort of the initiatives that they can use to engage our youth. I'm sure if one person has 2 of these net houses, he probably wouldn't have known where he would find the sort of resources to do this. But the government has put it forward and said, look, come and thrive, come and do your business.
Beyond youth engagement, women farmers are also being targeted through open field vegetable farms. Each federal constituency will get at least 10 hectares of land where 100 women will cultivate tomatoes, pepper, and leafy vegetables with full government support. Adebayo says the program, which is not a loan scheme, is meant to create an enabling environment for agribusiness to thrive.
The idea of this greenhouses is to make vegetable available closer to the people, and you see that strategically we've put one in Giri because we understand the Abuja market is one of the biggest markets for this. Lagos, we've put one in Shagamu. You have across the Lagos axis, you have the Shagamu Ekpe cluster, where we're also supporting other greenhouse owners around Shagamu and Ekpe and that area to also increase their capacity.
With the Abuja greenhouse farm expected to go fully operational by December 2025, NALDA says it hopes to make fresh vegetables available year-round, reduce post-harvest losses, and cut costs for consumers across Nigeria. Anie T. Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
Every year, about this time, farmers across the 44 local government areas of Kano State troop into the Dakata market to trade in sweet potatoes. Global TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that, like many other farm produce, this year, the prices of sweet potatoes have reduced significantly. We'll bring you those details later. Let's go to the foreign scene quickly for you. The World Health Organization has made a sounding alarm about the cholera outbreak that began in the middle of last year, just continues to claim lives across Sudan. The Federal Ministry of Health earlier reported 120,496 cases and 3,368 deaths nationwide. The World Health Organization warned that at 2.8%, the fatality rate is nearly 3 times the emergency threshold. And beyond Africa now, United States President Donald Trump has indicated that he authorized covert CIA action against Venezuela. Trump's comments have triggered outrage from leftist Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro, who has since ordered military exercises following a fresh U.S. strike on an alleged drug boat in the Caribbean.
Republican Trump declined to comment in detail about a New York Times report that he had secretly approved the CIA to conduct covert action in Venezuela against President Maduro.
Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America. They came in through the, they came in through the border. They came in because we had an open border policy. And as soon as I heard that, I said, a lot of these countries, they're not the only country, but they're the worst abuser. And they've entered they've allowed thousands and thousands of prisoners, mental institution, people from mental institutions, insane asylums, emptied out into the United States. We're bringing them back, but that's a really bad, and they did it at a level that probably not, many countries have done it, but not like Venezuela.
Trump also said he was weighing up whether to expand U.S. military actions against alleged Venezuelan drug cartels to the land after a series of deadly naval strikes on boats.
And the other thing are drugs. We have a lot of drugs coming in from Venezuela. And a lot of the Venezuelan drugs come in through the sea, so you get to see that. But we're going to stop them by land also.
At least 27 people have been killed in recent U.S. attacks on boats in the Caribbean. Uyi Agbomofwegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
And now time to turn to sports for you. Former Vice President and presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in 2023 election, Atiku Abubakar, has reaffirmed his unwavering commitment to youth empowerment through sport. He made this known when officials of the Nigerian University Games Association paid him a courtesy visit ahead of the 27th edition of the Games. And that's all halfway here on Global AM News. Thank you so very much for watching. A quick reminder that you can find Global Television on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Remember to engage and follow us across all social media platforms using @Global TV and G, as well as other handles as you now see on your screen. I'm Muyi Agumofwebe saying a big thank you to you for watching. Coming up next is Global Morning.